Saturday morning, the Experts program kicking off here on Power Talk Radio, and our tech expert, Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, is with us right now. Hello, Luis.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
Doing pretty good. So it's Memorial Day weekend, and want to remind folks that Monday is Memorial Day, so if you have a U.S. flag, hope you'll be flying it that day in remembrance of those who gave their lives in service to this country. And let's remember that on Memorial Day or Memorial Day weekend, we do not thank veterans for their service. That is what Veterans Day is for. Memorial Day is the day that we remember those who died in service to America in our wars or in service in our armed forces. And I think a lot of times, since so few people, Luis, so few people anymore have any military background or relatives that are in the military, they do not understand the distinction with the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. So I think it always pays to kind of remind people about that.
Yeah, back in the day when the majority of our country had at least one degree of separation with a military member, we seem to have a better idea of what all these holidays were about. But now they just seem to be about having a day off and enjoying time barbecuing. But there's a real meaning behind it. And hopefully folks will stop and think about it a little bit, because I think it's important to recognize.
Now, I know you're an Air Force veteran. You served in the Armed Forces of the United States back in the 80s. And I would imagine that there are probably a few names in your memory bank that are guys and women that you serve with that gave their lives in service to this country. So I know it must have a personal meaning to you.
Absolutely, it does. There's a lot of the folks that I helped train when they went through DLI that went on to careers and served in Afghanistan and Iraq and didn't come home. And it's a sad thing to consider, but I'm proud of their service and what they sacrificed for our country.
Just to focus on this for a moment, as a veteran and someone who feels very fortunate to have served and not lost their life, but keeping in mind those that you serve with that didn't make it home, as you move through your life on a daily basis, it's the kind of thing that makes you thankful for the opportunities you've had. And also, does it help you to motivate and redouble your efforts to make the most and best impact that you can in your time?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, not only the life lessons and leadership lessons that I learned when I served, but also the people lessons that I learned, and to appreciate life and appreciate every moment that you can, make a difference and continue to serve others. I think that's where I got my strong desire to give back to my community, was just spending time in the Air Force and feeling like I was contributing to something that was larger than me. And I like that feeling. So that's why I get involved with all the organizations and the nonprofits that I help, because I think it's important for us to continue to give back as long as we can.
Hey, we've got a really interesting topic for today, and it's one that's kind of scary. CNBC has got a story about AI, artificial intelligence, as it is mushrooming. And one of the things that we're hearing, kind of a doomsday scenario for the job market, that nearly 25% of the jobs we know could be disrupted, i.e. eliminated, in the next 5 years, and it could be because of AI playing a key role. This is out of the World Economic Forum. What are we learning about this?
Well, AI, especially the generative AI that we're seeing in things like ChatGPT, have really become a significant disruptor in a very short period of time, and that will only continue to be the case. So one example, when you think about jobs, is you think of a law firm. In many law firms, you have clerks that are there to gen up drafts that then are reviewed by the paralegals or the attorneys before they're submitted to the courts. Well, now you can get these generative AI systems to do that kind of low-end work for you. So all those clerks either have to learn new skills and upskill themselves, or they're going to find themselves out of a job. And that's true of every industry where you have a lot of these knowledge workers that we depend on to do some of the mundane and routine tasks of doing research or getting information together and presenting it to senior level employers. Those jobs will disappear. Now, having said that, I heard a really good saying the other day, which is AI is not going to take your job. The guy who knows how to use AI is going to take your job. So the goal here is to embrace all of these AI systems and understand them well enough so that you can contribute, because you can use AI AI to add higher value tasks to your work and to your employer.
One thing I've noticed with AI is that people, and in many respects, like the Chat GPT, isn't really ready for prime time. The other day I was with a client. He asked me if I could re-record a commercial for him. And he said, my ad agency did this spot and I hate it. I don't know what it is. It just sounds lifeless. I don't like the way it sounds. And he played the commercial for me. And I said, play it again. And played it again. I said, play it a third time. And I said, Jeff, I know what this is. They've used an AI voice to record your commercial. It's not a real human being. That's why the delivery sounds so robotic. And I said, that's why you hate it, because there's no emotion. There's no sizzle to the commercial or anything like that. Somebody decided to be really cheap and use an AI Chat GPT generated voice to read the commercial for your business. And it sounds like it and it's horrible. And so we're going to do it with a real human voice, mine. But this is an example of AI moving into the broadcast realm and people adopting this as a cost-saving measure, but not really understanding that, is this the quality that you want to give to your clients? Is this how you want their business represented in the community, to use a robot voice? I mean, I think that people need to step back a little bit and think about what they're doing and not be so focused on, gee, look how much money and time I'll save if I use this thing. Or are we just going to have another race to the bottom, as we so often have?
Well, and you're starting to see ChatGPT and the like being used to create blog posts or even articles for online newspapers and news feeds. And you could really tell the difference between something that was created by a ChatGPT and something that was created by a human being. There still is that difference that's there, that you can, the nuance of the human mind that ChatGPT still can't get. So, will it get there? Yeah, probably at some point. But in the meantime, I think there's still a lot of value in having people involved in that feedback loop, so that it's not just ChatGPT doing commercials for us.
Right. And one thing I noticed as far as ChatGPT authoring stories, online blog posts and so forth, I was reading stories and I would get to the story ends or doesn't end, scroll down looking for the rest of the story because it's missing more detail. And I'm seeing this more and more. It got me to thinking, what's going on here? What's wrong with the reporter? Why are they leaving out? This is like eating half a sandwich and you want to eat the whole sandwich and you're looking around for the rest of the sandwich. Where did it go? And now it's right. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this makes sense. This is ChatGPT. This is an AI generated story, and it doesn't know that there needs to be more information here to complete the rest of the sandwich. And so it just leaves you hanging. Very unfulfilling. I can tell you that. Just like half a sandwich, very unfulfilling.
But we have to be aware of it, and it is going to be a big disruptor. So if you are in one of those low-level administrative jobs that you can foresee being overtaken, you might as well start learning a new skill or learning how to do higher level work.
All right. Well, I need to go now because I have to go walk my robot.
It's not smart enough to walk itself. I get it.
No. That's Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group. Online, it's alvareztg.com, @AlvarezTG. That is the Twitter handle. And Luis, the toll-free number for the I-Team.
And give us a call at 866-78-I-Team. That's 866-784-8326.